Steven, great to see you, as always. On the tour, of course, how are you finding your experience here so far?
Yeah, it's been tough. Obviously, because we've joined the squad late, I think Ryle and the fitness coach is trying to, get numbers and distances into our legs very quickly. So, straight into the double sessions, and it has been tough, but exactly what's needed at this stage.
What's it like being back in Boston? You were here 2 years ago, Brendan's first pre-season. Things have changed quite dramatically since then.
Yeah, they have. I think the team and the group have made unbelievable strides forward. We're a good team now. I think when Brendan took over, there was a lot of work to do to get to this stage, and we've done it very well. And there's no better place to prepare for a season than over in the US, and especially in Boston. We all love it out here. You get different weather, as you've seen today. It was overcast, but yesterday it was very hot, so you get a bit of everything. So yeah, we're really happy at the moment, and we're looking forward to the games.
And we saw you yesterday getting into the local culture, trying baseball out on Instagram. How was that?
Yeah, it was good fun. Obviously, I've watched it a couple of times, but never really had a go myself, and it's a lot more difficult than it looks. But it was nice to have a bit of fun with the lads and get the banter going and have a little swing. But none of us were really good, really.
No one took the plaudits now?
No, we hit a couple of decent ones, but there wasn't many home runs getting made, that's for sure.
Well, of course, the big news over the past few days, your retirement from international football. I know you've spoken about this already, but how difficult a decision was it?
Yeah, it was a tough decision because, to stand down from being England captain was always going to be tough, because it was always a dream of mine from a very young boy, was to play for England, and then once I got the taste of it, I always wanted to become captain, and I was proud to be captain, and I enjoyed every minute of that role. But the other side of it, decision was easy because of my age, because I had to be fair and respectful to the club, who've been brilliant with me since I made my debut, and another big factor was obviously having Champions League back. There's no possible way I could have asked my body to go through a schedule where I was playing international football, Champions League and domestic. So yeah, I had to be fair to everyone, and I also had to be fair to my family as well, and give them a little bit more time in my life as well. So yeah, I suppose bits of the decision were very tough, and some were very easy.
Jordan Henderson described you as the greatest player to ever play for England.
Steady. No, I don't think that's true. Very flattering and nice of Jordan. Listen, I'm very, very proud and very happy how my England career went. To play 114 times, of course, I would have loved to have played in a semi-final or a final. But you have to accept at that level that there's other unbelievable footballers out there, some unbelievable teams, and when you're in them competitions, it's a very cruel level, and it's small details whether you get past the quarter-final or not. And I come, in touching distance of doing that on maybe 3 occasions. So very unlucky not to be looking back on my England career with, big satisfaction. Unfortunately, I look back with some regrets because I never managed to get past that quarter-final hurdle. But I've enjoyed the journey, ups and downs, and that's what football's about. But I wouldn't swap it for anything. Yeah,
are you able to say to yourself, you've done more than the millions of people would have been able to do?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're a young boy and you're setting out to try and become a professional footballer, if you're asked a question at 14, 15 years of age, you're going to represent your country once, you'd probably snap their hand off. So to clock up the numbers that I have and have the experiences that I've done, and I've managed to get some goals and a fantastic caps return, and also experience of playing in all kinds of different countries and played with world-class players. It's something them memories I can take to the grave with me. So yeah, as I say, I'm really proud to be sitting here and looking back on my England career, rather than listening to certain people who always judge us footballers on how far you get in tournaments.
Well, this World Cup didn't go how you would have hoped it did, but as a spectacle, as the tournament, did it live up to expectations?
Well, I think the tournament was fantastic for, obviously, the neutrals. From our point of view, it was a disaster. There's no other way to describe it, really. It went exactly how we didn't want it to go. The idea was to try and get off to a good start against Italy and build on it and try and get out the group. So to go out of the tournament after 2 games was very painful. And as a player now sitting here, you know, 4 weeks down the line, it's still a bit of a grieving process if you like, but it's time to try and park it up, put it to bed, because this is such an exciting and big season for Liverpool, and that's my priority now.
Let's reflect on last season, first of all, with Liverpool, before we look ahead. Now you've had time to reflect. Is it still raw?
It is, because of how it ended, of course. You know, that takes time as well. I think when you play at this level, the margins are so tight. So when you fall short by touching distance of something so big, of course it's still going to be raw, and it's going to take time to get over it. And I think the only way to recover from that is to go and try and achieve something this season. But I think the longer I've reflected on it and sort of went through it and analysed it, the only thing you can look back on is to be proud of your teammates, and I think the fans will agree with me that the performance levels from start to finish last season were incredible.
If you were to describe that season to someone who hadn't seen Liverpool at all, where would you start?
I think I'd use the word I've just used, incredible. I think some of our performance were top draw. Some of the performances from individuals and as the team were exactly what Brendan wanted and what he's all about. And if we can sort of build on that and find the consistency, there's no doubt about it that trophies are only around the corner.
Yeah, you said on the very last day this side was in the best shape that it possibly could have been at that time, or was one of the best sides you'd been involved in. Considering what's happened over the summer, do you still feel that way?
Definitely, yeah, and I also believe now that we're in a much better place than we were this time last year. And the reason being is because we've got the taste, we've got the know-how now, and we've got the experience of being in a title race. I think the hurt, because we fell so short, if we can use that in our favour as a positive going forward, that we don't want to feel like that again come the end of next season. Hopefully we can go one better, but I think this is the first time in a long time I can sit here and tell people and be confident of telling people that we're the real deal and that we are title contenders now before the ball's kicked. And the reason for that is because of what Brendan's created here. He's created a group of players who are all prepared to fight each other and who are all very talented, and hopefully there'll be a few more names added to that in the coming weeks as well. And we've lost a world-class player in Lewis. There's no getting away from that. You know, I'm his biggest fan, but hopefully 4 or 5 additions can help soften that blow.
Do you sometimes just have to be grateful or be thankful that you saw a player like that, or the fans saw a player like that at Liverpool, one of the greatest players that we've ever seen? Yeah,
of course. I think what you've got to accept with foreign players is you're not going to get a foreigner from start to finish in their career. You know, they want to move about, they want to sample different cultures. You know, they come out of their own country and you know, they do bits of time in different places. You have to accept that. You know, it happened with Torres, it happened with Lewis, and it'll happen with more in the future. All I judge players on is what they give from the moment they walk in to the moment they go out, and I don't think anyone can fault Lewis for effort, determination and desire. Yeah, you know, he obviously had his setbacks with the Patrice Evra situation, Ivanovic, and obviously the recent one was on international duty. But if you park them 3 instances aside, of course, he's a world-class talent and certainly the best player I've ever played with, so I've got nothing but compliments for him. But in football, you've got to move on. We moved on from Torres, we've moved on from other great players. We have to do the same with Lewis now. We can't sulk and feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to go and share the responsibility out and make sure that we don't miss him too much.
You mentioned the supporters earlier. Again, last season you said you'd run out of words to describe the supporters. I'm going to ask you to describe them again though. Did they raise it last season as well?
They seem to always raise it, you know, season by season, but I think we've got the responsibility to make them get excited. I think they raised it last year because of our performances. We took them where they wanted to be, and that's in a title race. And you know, it's our responsibility to make sure that we reward them this year with great performances in Europe, but also come round that March-April time that we're still in a title race. I think that's our responsibility to make sure that they get excited, because if we do, there's no better fans in the world. That's a fact. And that's just not from me, that's from other top players who have got nothing to do with Liverpool who've told me that as well.
Well, new signings have come in to the club as well. Have they impressed you so far?
Yeah, as I say, I've done 5-6 sessions so far. It's very little time, and obviously a lot of the sessions are running based. And there's not really much technical stuff or game related stuff going on at the moment, but I've seen glimpses from all of them. I obviously know Adam a lot better than obviously Lazar. I know Adam's going to be a fantastic player. He's got balance, he's got skill, but also what the fans may not know is that he's a good leader as well. He's a captain from Southampton, so he'll be a good member of the squad with the right attitude, and I'm really pleased with that one. Lazar, I've obviously seen clips on YouTube like every other Liverpool fan has, and I've seen glimpses in training. He looks exciting, quick, pacey. I think he's going to get the fans on the edge of the seat, but we'll see with time. I've got big trust in Brendan and the people he brings in, and I'm sure they'll all be good signings.
Let's talk about Ricky Lambert as well, because you more than anyone will know how he's feeling right now.
I didn't mention Ricky in that last one because he's a little bit different, because he's a Liverpool boy. He knows what the club's all about. He's probably less risk than any other signing because you know what you're going to get from him. You don't have to worry about his desire or determination. He's living the dream. He's worked so hard from the moment he got released by Liverpool as a kid to build his way back up to the top and get a move for Liverpool's unbelievable for Ricky. And I hope now that he can finish his career here and do really well and have some memories that he'll live with forever.
He's got an incredible story, but he was keen to point out, as Brendan was as well, it's not about sentiment, is it?
No, not at all. If that was the case, we'd have 23 Scousers in the team. It was all about sentiment. Ricky's here because he's a top player. I think he showed last season his goal return, breaking into the England squad, proving that he can score goals for England, and he's going to be a valuable member of this squad. And the chats that I've had with him, all he's keen to do is contribute. He wants to play as many minutes as he can, and he wants to create goals and set goals up and play his part in being successful. I know what will be on his mind, and it'll be lifting a trophy at Wembley, Champions League nights, and getting involved in the title race. That's what his focus will be, because it's exactly the same as mine, and we're two big Liverpool fans. For
those players that haven't played in the Champions League, do you have to describe what it's like at Anfield on those occasions, or is that just a given?
I don't think so. I think one of the big factors why people sign for this club is because they look in on European nights and they see the crowd and the atmosphere, and they also see the brand of football that this club plays. I think they obviously have watched the team over the last couple of years with Brendan, and they like the way he goes about it. So no, I don't think you have to sell the club or European football to these players. I think they know what it's all about, and if they don't, then they're soon going to find out, because I think Anfield will be a cauldron this year, especially over 2 legs, and we're certainly going to need that 12th man this year if we're to go far in the Champions League.
Does the competition excite you as much as it does the fans?
It excites me because I think we can do well in it. I know people are saying, Champions League is back, it's great, the nights are going to be enjoyable and all that, but for me, I see a chance for us to progress and go really far. We're in, I think, the 3rd pot. I don't think many sides in pot 1 and 2 want to face us over 2 legs, which is good. And as I say, we're not one of the favourites. Let people talk about other teams, but don't be surprised if you see us do well in it this year.
Next year, the 10th anniversary of Istanbul. I don't know how much you believe in fate or what's written in the stars or anything like that, but the fans will, I guess, dare to dream.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I don't necessarily think that the best team in Europe always wins the Champions League. I think, there's probably 8-10 sides in the draw who are capable of winning it. You obviously need a bit of luck along the way, but anything can happen in that competition, as we proved in 2005 and in 2007. To get to 2 finals in 3 years. And I don't think either year we had the best team in the competition. It gives you belief and hope that this group of players can achieve the same.
The level of opposition on this tour, will that stand you in good stead to be back in the competition again?
Yeah, for sure. But I think you've also got to be careful that you don't start making judgments too early on this group of players. They've been doing double sessions with really difficult running and been doing leg weights and upper body weights. But when the Champions League comes round, you obviously go in ready to fire, you're fit, you're peaked during the season in September when it starts. So But of course it gives us a good idea of the quality players we're going to be coming up against.
Olympiacos up next, of course, in Chicago, a fixture that is special for you for so many reasons. Do you think about things like that going into games, or in pre-season does that not?
Not once the game starts, I won't be thinking about that, but obviously when I see in the fixture and I suppose in the build-up I'll always have flashbacks of what happened in the build-up to Istanbul, and also my testimonial, which was a special day as well. So yeah, I suppose I've got a bit of affection for Olympiacos, but I still want to beat them. It's probably be my first game back where I play my first minutes, so it's an important game for fitness reasons.
How is your physical condition now then compared to other pre-seasons?
It's probably better at this stage because I've had very little rest. I think I had three weeks off, but I only had 2 weeks rest because I'd done a week's training before I come back, so I wouldn't have lost much during the summer. But of course I've still got to use the next 3 or 4 weeks to get match fit, to get match sharp and get minutes under my belt. But for me the most important game is Southampton. The important thing for me now is to stay fit, get all the distances in training and in the games, and then I'll be ready to go. What's
it like mentally preparing yourself for a new season? So much focus from our point of view is on the physical side, but we don't understand what goes on in your head really. Yeah,
well I think preparation for the Southampton game's already begun. Because we're trying to get fit, physically fit, match fit, but the manager's already starting to throw tactics about in training. We're already starting to have team meetings on what's expected, trying to integrate the new lads, so I suppose preparation's already begun. But I'd be lying if I was sitting here saying this is the enjoyable part of the season. Everyone wishes that it was the night before Southampton now.
How far ahead do you look then? Do you take it season by season now, or?
Yeah, I have to. I've got a year left on my contract, so there's no point in me worrying about the year after, is it?
Not coming into your thinking at all?
No, I'm happy where I am. I've got a year to go, and as I say, stepping out of the England line, I've got one priority now and one focus, and that'll be really helpful for me mentally. I'm going to be really fresh and get breaks at the right time, and from a physical point of view, I'm hoping it's going to be fantastic. I've never experienced going into a season where I've only got Liverpool to focus on, so hopefully that'll help in my performances, and as I say, I can contribute again this season like I did last year.
This time last year on the pre-season tour, we asked you your aims or what you would like to be saying in 12 months' time. You said you wanted to be back in the Champions League. That's been achieved. So what's your aim or your message to the supporters this time around?
Well, I think the priority is obviously to stay in the Champions League. But for me, because I'm running out of years in my career with age and stuff, I want another trophy. I want to treat the fans to a day out, whether that be at Wembley or something in Europe. We'll have to wait and see. But for me now, it's all about trying to win trophies and trying to create a few more chapters to add to what I've already done.